Welcome to Reflections, a program where we discuss values and virtues for the transformation of the individual and the society in general. I am Father George Ehusani, and we have a special edition because we are celebrating at this time independence. Happy independence to everyone. Happy Independence Day to everyone. We are celebrating the 63rd independence anniversary of Nigeria. And I have with me, to mark that independence, I have with me an elder statesman and a PDP chieftain, Elder Senator Ben Obi. You're welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you very much, Father.
Thank you. CON, Commander of the Order of the Niger.
Thank you, Father.
He was senator during the
2003 to 2007.
2003 to 2007.
Correct.
And then you have played several key roles in Nigeria before and after that. Not long ago, it was the very active role, coordinating role you played at the burial of our friend, Chief Raymond Dopesi, that I admire so much. You coordinated all the arrangements for the burial, and I thank you and congratulate you, sir.
Thank you very much, Father.
Thank you. Now, 63 years of independence. And from being a very young person in 1960, October 1, to now you're an elder statesman. What have you seen about Nigeria? What were your aspirations when we sang our first national anthem, Nigeria, we hail thee? Now, what were your aspirations then in 1960? I guess were you already in high school?
Yes, I was in primary school.
You were in primary school?
Yes.
I was yet to enter primary school. Now, what were your aspirations then? What were your disappointments? Because you must have had experiences during the Civil War, and then the Civil War ended in 1970, and we had the slogan "No victor, no vanquish" to rehabilitate, the 3 R's: reconciliation, rehabilitation, and so on. But 53 years after the Civil War, when we should have moved on as a country with all the endowments of this country, the enormous human resources, with people shining all over the world, making waves in different parts of the world, and the enormous natural resources. Apart from oil, we have all kinds of mineral resources that you can name. We have them. And yet Nigeria today is the poverty capital of the world. Nigerians today are insulted at embassies and entry points of various countries because of the near worthlessness of our passport. How do you feel as Nigeria celebrates 63 years of independence, sir?
Thank you very much, Father. Starting from 1960, when we had the pride as school children to line up the roads with our flag, green, white, green flag. Everybody was so excited. We're so happy. We didn't know who was who. We didn't know a northerner. We didn't know a
southerner, an easterner.
Yoruba, Shakiri, Urobo. We
were just celebrating one. That. Yeah.
One. And we moved on. Life was so kind to us. Things were available everywhere and at very good rates. There was discipline from those of us who were pupils under the tutelage of our parents and our teachers and headmasters, moving on to principals and all of that. Headmasters, teachers,
were so respected at the time.
Highly respected. You can't, when you run into your headmaster, you will think you have committed an offense. Just running into him, you think you are committing an offense. Because the question will be, where are you going? Why are you not in class?
Where were you supposed to be?
So the discipline was thorough. And it helped all of us to grow. And then we became a republic in 1963. And our founding fathers were in charge. Our founding fathers were doing so much. There was competition,
healthy competition
between the regions. You had Chief Obafemi Awolowo
setting up the television station.
First television station in Africa, first stadium in Africa. Things going on with the cocoa pyramid.
Cocoa pyramid. And they started building the cocoa house.
Cocoa house. You had Sarwana Osokoto Amadu Bello with his granite pyramids, making waves here, there, and yonder.
And when he saw the University of Ife, he too said,
Goma, we went to ABU. And then you went to the east with Michael Okpara, then running the fastest growing economy probably in the whole world with palm kernel. And then you are asking yourself, what happened? Then on top of that, you had the great Zik of Africa, who was looking at the continent,
yes,
and saying, you know what? I'm going to look for my colleagues in the continent, and all of us must go in search of the golden fleece for the emancipation of the black man.
Yes. So he was in touch with Nkrumah. He was in touch with Senghor, with all those people.
Bongo, the Ivory Coast, all of them, named them. And all of them came back and became presidents and prime ministers of their countries. That was, we were
the
all
golden era.
Absolutely, Father. Absolutely, Father.
I watched a video of Tafawa Balewa, Prime Minister, arriving in America.
Washington, yes, on the state visit.
Yes, on a state visit, with the whole paraphernalia of America laid out for him.
Absolutely. And you know, Tafawa Balewa has a golden voice.
Yes, the golden voice of Africa.
Absolutely. So they respected him. They brought out all the paraphernalia of office to welcome this great Nigerian. And then we started with the military intervention in 1966.
The five majors struck.
And the real kernel of their anger was referring to politicians as the 10 percenters.
That was it.
10.
It was only 10.
10.
What led to this was only 10%. They didn't know what corruption was.
So you see, Father, now the history of Nigeria changed from that point. The history of Nigeria changed from that point. The founding fathers, some lost their lives, some were lucky to be alive, and they were edged out. The military came finally with Ironsi, and again,
another coup.
Like it was a revenge. And they did all that they did.
Pogrom in the north. People were mutilated, men, women, children. Sad story. Then came the Civil War. It was to be a police action that will last for 7 days, according to General Gowon. We found ourselves into almost 3 years of civil war and almost losing about 3 million men, women, and children, with kwashiorkor everywhere in the east. And of course, starvation, they say, was a weapon to end the war.
Well, the war ended. General Gowon, in his magnanimity,
proclaimed
the 3 R's.
Yes. Reconciliation, rehabilitation, and
reconstruction. Well, how far that went is still subject
to debate.
The other side of it was that whatever amount of money you had in the bank, you were only given. You were given £20
at the end of the war.
So those of us who came from that part of the country used our £20
to start life all
over. Well, the rest of that, they say, is history. Now, moved on.
30 years of military rule, military devastation, as I would call it.
Right.
Then 1999, we began all over again.
Before we go to 1999 further, I want to tell you a small story. In 1978, when General Obasanjo as head of state,
military head of state,
decided they were going to return power to a democratic process, there were so many parties that were scrambling for registration. There was the MPN, there was the UPN, there was the
NNPP.
No,
what was it?
NPP.
MPP, yes.
NPP.
Then there was Waziri's own.
PRP. There was the GNPP.
GNPP.
Now the NPP broke into MPP and GNPP. This was later. We had the Nigeria Advance Party, which was the only revolutionary party in the country. Of course, being revolutionary, Obasanjo said, I will never allow this party to be registered. So they had 5 parties. NPN, led by Shehu Shagari. UPN, led by Obafemi Awolowo. MPP, led by Zik. GNPP, Waziri Ibrahim, Uncle Waziri Ibrahim. PRP, Aminu Kano. They contested the elections of 1979. Elections at that time depends on who was calling the shot. It was more of allocation.
Oh, allocation.
Yeah, they allocated states. That was. Then, 1980.
Before you go beyond 1978, 79, as you call the names of the persons who are involved, I am thinking of integrity. Because if you mention people like Aminu Kano, Awolowo, Zik, Waziri Ibrahim is the one who coined it in politics without
that bitterness. Uncle Waziri Ibrahim.
I must say it properly. Uncle Ibrahim. So he
Waziri
announced
Ibrahim.
that he was superintending a politics without bitterness.
I will tell you what he did. As I was moving on, 1980, Honorable Justice Ovie Whiskey was the chairman of FEDECO,
Federal Electoral Commission,
announced the process of, again, registering of new political parties. So we had a meeting, those of us who were in the lab, Dr. Tunji Braithwaite,
I remember that was the party of Tunji Braithwaite.
Correct. Dr. Tunji Braithwaite, Dr. Ayojagina,
National Advance Party.
Nigerian Advance
Party.
Dr. Muyiwa Ladimeji, Comrade Malam Sani, and Ben Obi sat down. In 1978, when they registered the PRP and the GNPP, the Nigeria Advance Party had more secretariats across the country than those two parties. But because we came as revolutionaries, if you recall, our message was that we're going to retire the old brigade politicians. And that we will commence the elimination of the rats and mosquitoes.
So you guys shot yourself in the foot.
With an Obasanjo.
Meaning, who was one of the rats and mosquitoes?
Anyway, so we now decided that since we are party of the youths, we will mobilize the National Association of Nigerian Students across the country and make life at Tafawa Balewa restless for all of them there. The National Assembly was at Tafawa Balewa.
Yes.
FEDECO was at Tafawa Balewa. So we moved students. Justice Obiewicki was screaming and calling.
And that was the time soon after Ali must go kind of era.
Oh yes. Justice Obiewicki was calling Obasanjo in Ribadu Road. Justice Obiewicki was calling Joseph Wires at the Senate. Joseph Wires was they also barricaded. They can't leave. The students have taken over the whole place. Then they said, well, Justice Obiewicki is NAP qualified to be registered. Since 1978,
they have been qualified.
Register them, let us have peace. That was how the Nigerian Advance Party was registered. Okay, so it became 6 political parties. Talking about integrity, like I said, you had Shagari, Shehu Shagari.
Yes.
You had Obafemi Awolowo.
Yes.
You had Nnamdi Azikiwe. You had Uncle Waziri Ibrahim.
You had
Aminu Kano. Then Tunji Braithwaite.
Then you had Tunji Braithwaite. These were people that were unassailable, personal integrity, unassailable.
Now, the very first meeting we attended of the 6 political parties,
yes,
with the President Shehu Shagari, 2 leaders each were invited from the other parties. So when we were talking, generally, and they were saying how various political parties were being attacked by political parties that are leading
in those areas.
Uncle Waziri Ibrahim pressed his speaker. Shehu, that's the president.
Yes.
Uncle Waziri Ibrahim had command of the English language, was very eloquent. He said, Shehu, I called you 3 times. Is that correct? Shehu Shagari said, I didn't give you the floor. So, well, I've given myself the floor. And you have to listen to me. Chief of Obafemi Awolowo, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Malam Aminu Kano. Now, we have the young men here with us. Let us not pollute them because these are our leaders for tomorrow. These kind of stories that are being reported is not good for them.
This is not the kind of story we should be hearing.
Shehu said, this is noted. Now, if there are issues, if there are clashes between Party A and Party B, they should come and discuss it with him, and he will invite the security chiefs to address them. Our founding fathers will guide you. They will educate you. They will correct you.
I am just imagining the likes of Uncle Waziri Ibrahim, how they will be turning with pain in their graves to see what is happening today.
This one incident also happened. Again, it was Uncle Waziri Ibrahim. The National Secretary of the MPN, a Bauchi man, his name is Alhaji Sani Ubasani. Alhaji Ubasani. Yes. He was speaking and he mentioned the name of the Attorney General of the Federation, but mentioned it as Anthony General.
Okay.
Uncle Waziri pressed
the speaker.
Sani, how many times did I call you? And he said, 3 times, sir. Say, now listen to me and repeat after me. That word is not Anthony. That word is Attorney. Attorney. I repeat that. And we all laugh. But you see how they take time to groom you.
And even the unity, the sense of cohesion.
Unbelievable. You see, today, when I look at our politics, I am indeed very sad. Because you have to be groomed. People like us are lucky we met the founding fathers of this country. We played politics with them. They corrected us.
You watched a waziri say, Shehu. You and call him to order.
Yes, immediately. And everybody will just... At times, Abafemi Awolowo will say, look, Ibrahim, you are not running this meeting. And Ibrahim will say, Chief Awolowo, have I said the wrong thing? And Zeke will say, you have said the right thing. So you can see the way they related.
I mean, you see, we are talking about integrity in leadership. We definitely need to keep mentioning these kind of things, projecting people like Waziri, people like Shagari, people like Aminu Kano, people like Zeke, to say, look, there's a story about Michael Okpara.
Right.
Michael Okpara superintended the establishment of the Enugu layout.
Correct.
And that he never gave himself a plot of land.
Until he died.
Until he died.
We had to go and get a parcel of land.
To bury him.
Yes, Ohanese. We had to go and get a parcel of land and build.
That whole Enugu layout.
Nothing.
He is the one that superintended the design and whatever. But he never gave himself a plot of land.
Very correct.
Now somebody will be local government councillor and he has 4 or 5 plots of land.
You see, Father, one of the challenges we have as politicians is that today our political parties are not founded on
any ideological base. Yes,
that is why you can see people moving from PDP to APC to ABGA to NNPP.
Immediately after elections are concluded, then people are ready to move. Politics without principles.
It was never done that way. It was never done because political parties are basically founded on ideological grounds. Birds of the same feather. They must flock together.
I mean, it is Mahatma Gandhi who listed politics without principles as one of the 7 deadly social sins of today. Politics without principles.
You can't play politics. You must be principled to be able to know that, look, I cannot stand for this. And look, when we started, I in particular, politics, polity. This Latin word, politics, polity.
What does it mean?
What does it mean? People. Service to the people. So if you are in politics and you are not serving the people, then something is wrong. Something definitely is wrong. Now, not to talk about how bastardized today our politics has become. Now, I am happy today because of what the youths did in this last election. I am also sad when I look at some people who are also youths and the kind of political lives they have lived. It is shameful.
Because they don't represent a new, any sense of something different coming up.
At all. When, in Nigeria Advanced Party, if you recall, we had what we used to wear. We had an identity, our outfit, sleeveless. And we had the ceremonial one. When we have the cape, you put the cape on the sleeve if you're going for a ceremonial outing. Now, why was it still sleeveless? We sat down. The problem of Nigeria is monumental. With a monumental problem before you, is this Babariga or Agbada
that you are going to
you
use.
You're going to where to be moving up. Before you lead on, you have to.
You need to be in the trenches. Carry blocks.
To be smart.
Yes.
Is this suit? You will be sweating. So we devised the sleeveless outfit as revolutionaries to face the battle of this country. We went to Ota. Tunji and I went to Ota to see President Obasanjo, the former head of state. He wasn't president then. We met all the requirements for registration. Why did you not register the Nigerian Advance Party? He busted into laughter. He said, well, I know that people want to come and eliminate all of us. So I will register you to come and eliminate us. No, I know you. You people are bigger than the PRP and the GMP in terms of spread. But no, I said you must not be registered. Register the Revolutionary Party? No way. So we looked at him. Tunji said, you know, you have done a major disservice to the country. And then we left him.
So, we would end this segment of our discussion if you are to put it in, at 63, how do you feel? If you are to put your feelings in words about Nigeria and Nigeria politics and Nigeria governance, how do you feel today in your, I mean, you have become an elder statesman. You have been discussing how, as a young man, you joined the likes of Tunde Braithwaite. You had to sit at the meeting of party leaders that had Elder Waziri and Aminu Kanu and Awolowo and Zik and so on. You saw those caliber of people that I would say groomed you.
Yes.
Now, as you look back and as you look at where we are today, how do you feel?
Very sad.
Very sad.
Very, very sad. Very, very sad. Because there is nobody in the terrain today with the political space that has not had the opportunity of interacting with. And I keep asking, I keep saying, why can't we do the needful? Why has leadership become a problem? We all know the right thing to do. We are not doing them. Now let me tell you further. Executive, problem. Legislative, problem.
Judiciary, problem.
And it has engulfed every other institution. It has engulfed every other institution.
Of course, the fish rots from the top.
From top. So we need to really sit back. We need to sit back and ask ourselves, how are we going to get this right? In 2014, most of the top flying high-profile ambassadors and high commissioners called me. Some came to my office. Some called me, together. The European Union, they all assembled and called me. I went to see them. They said, look, do something. I was then special advisor, inter-party affairs to Jonathan, to President Jonathan. They said, do something. Political parties are politicizing Boko Haram. They don't understand the danger. Try and organize a summit. We will support you. I said, all right. Those who came to my office said the same thing. So I did a memo to President Jonathan, and I want to conduct an all-party summit. And I will involve all the other parties. He said I should come and see him. I went. He said, can you pull this through? I said, why not? I'll pull it through. He said, all right, engage the NSA. So it became an all-party summit organized by the Office of the Special Advisor, Inter-Party Affairs, and Office
of the National Security Advisor.
I went through all the political parties. The day I went to see Chief Bisi Akonde, he was interim chairman of the APC in the Lagos house in Asokoro. He was the first person I went to see because we had worked together. He was chairman of AC when I was running mate to Atiku in 2007. So we had a good relationship. So when I went to see him, lo and behold, I met him with my good friend, now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We're sitting down together. So I said, thank God I'm meeting both of you. I have come here because I want to organize an all-party summit. And it is because all the embassies and high commissions are worried that political parties are politicizing Boko Haram. It's a security issue. And the earlier we know it, the better for the country. They said, look, Ben, we know you. You are part of us. We can trust you. But you have to write so that we will present it at that neck. But I can assure you, there will be no problem. So I wrote formally to MC. And they presented it at neck, and it was unanimously agreed upon that they will participate. And they all participated. I went to Aso Drive, the residence of General Buhari, as he then was, to personally invite him to come and participate. He said, look, Chief, I will come. I know you. Then I went to Abdusalam Abubakar. I said, Your Excellency, I want you to come and chair this all-important summit. And he agreed. You know the date I chose for this summit? I chose June 12th, 2014, at the International Conference Center. The place was full. All the ambassadors and high commissioners present. All the political parties present. All. President Jonathan was there. General Buhari was there. Chief Bisi Akande sent Chief Shegun Oshoba to represent, but he said he was traveling out. Everybody came. And at the end of the day, when I spoke to them, why this summit was called, that Boko Haram is a terrorist organization. Therefore, we political parties must not politicize it.
We must speak as one
on this matter. And it was all unanimously agreed. President Buhari, yes. Then General Buhari signed. President Jonathan signed. Abdul Salami signed. All the party chairmen signed. Then Colonel Sambo Dasuki signed, and I signed. It was a wonderful outing.
On that note, we'll be bringing this discussion to an end. I have been speaking with an elder statesman, Senator Ben Obi, CON. We've been reminiscing on Nigeria between Independence Day 1960, October 1, and today, as we are marking independence once again. And we have been lamenting how the standards in political practice, party politics, has gone down.
True.
And hoping that Senator, we shall have to discuss again so that perhaps we can have something more positive to discuss about Nigeria. On this note, I would say happy independence to everyone, and we pray that in another 10 years, we will be looking back and say we have made a lot of progress. You want to say happy independence to our people?
Well, happy independence to our great Nigerian people. I know we are all pained, but I still believe that we will overcome our challenges and we will be great as God has created us to be, a great nation.
By the grace of God. Thank you.
Thank you, Father.